everyone, and welcome to Ladies Table Talk podcast. And I'm your host, Jess.
And I'm Marcia, the co-host.
So today we're going to be talking to another lady about her story, her experience in regarding domestic abuse. So, Kerry, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Kerry. I'm 41. I went through a lot of domestic violence, a lot of abuse, a lot of mental, emotional, physical. It didn't seem like it was anything like that at the time. It was just like bits and pieces started to fit together. Like first it was like my friends got took away from me, then my family, and it was like personal, like just comments about myself, keeping me imprisoned in my house, away from my family. Like no one really wanted to talk to me because the person just kept doing stuff and I didn't see it, and I just let them stay for a long time. And like, it was just, I just didn't see it. I just thought, he just goes on like that because he cares, kind of thing. Like I'd like want to wear certain clothes, or I'd want to like buy skinny tight jeans. Like, why do you want to wear tight jeans? And like, just like, it's hard to explain. It was just stupid. But now I look at it like, I should have been able to have wore what I wanted, went where I wanted to, and spoke to who I wanted to. But like I said, piece after piece, like he started to like undo my like jigsaw of myself. Like no one seems to like recognise me, like where I was so loud and outspoken before. I just turned into a totally different person. It
changes you. Yeah,
it changed me. It added to my depression. Like everyone was like, you used to be funny and loud and bubbly, and now like you don't even talk no more. You look at the floor.
Yeah,
like, it was like we'd be walking shopping and just a random person would smile at me. I'm a very approachable person, believe it or not. People always come from in the shop. Someone will tell me, someone will start telling me their life story, and I listen and I talk with people. It's nice to conversate. You could have just saved someone's life. Someone could have been feeling that low and depressed that I want to go home and kill myself, but if you just open your ears to some people sometimes, it doesn't cost nothing to be nice. And I'd be accused, that person, you slept with that person, where do you know that person? I mean, it really, really just stupid things like that. It got worse when I got pregnant.
Kerry, was this your partner?
He was, yeah.
Okay.
Thank God I managed to find the strength to get an injunction after years and years and years of abuse.
Yeah. I was just about to ask you, how many years?
You know what? We was together off and on. We was together properly for about 7-8 years, and then the last couple of years he just kept stalking me. I think I was explaining to you the other week. It went to the extent where he was actually stalking from his friend's house across the road. And he was actually to the point where he was actually sleeping in, I had like an outhouse in my house. I didn't want him in there. And he was actually sleeping in there.
So when do you think that the abuse started in the relationship?
When he moved in, it was all right for about the first year. We didn't argue.
That happened with me.
Yeah. Once you move in and then they start
changes.
Yeah, they start trying to change it little by little. Yeah. Like obviously I had a lot of friends, a lot of them have passed away now, and I got a very ill mum, and it was just stupid things like, imagine my uncle died and he was like, don't think you're staying long at that the wait thing. This is where I don't get to see my family much, because a lot of them live in London and stuff, and it's like, don't drink, make sure you come home. And I'm like, it's my uncle, we're trying to celebrate your life. As black people, this is what we do. That means obviously coloring or nothing, but that's how we roll, you get me? I didn't even get to go to his 9 nights, you know what I mean? Like, he even made me late for my other uncle's funeral. It was my mum.
Very controlling, wasn't it? He's like he needed to have that control over you.
Yeah, all my friends were slag. So
what sort of things would he do to stop you? Was it verbally?
It was everything. Like, if you don't come home, I'm going to leave the children on their own. Like, imagine I have my own 3 children.
Right.
Previous partner, and they were quite grown. My daughter, like, she's like my best friend. We're all close, but like, she'd come with me, and I took the little daughter with me, and like, it was like he'd make me late for things. He'd be like, because I've got children that are disabled, like I've got a son who's autistic. He'd be like, I'll just leave the kids there, and I'm like, but the baby's gonna run out in the road and stuff, and like, it was just stuff like that, like
manipulative, controlling,
and then it's like coercive control, isn't it?
And a lot of it was like he wanted to be like, he wanted to own me, kind of thing. Like, I wanted to go and get tattoos and piercings and stuff. I was like, what do you want to do that for? So people can stare at you. Like, every little thing I wanted to do to myself, it was always for somebody else. I mean, never. I've always got tattoos since I was 16. I've always had red hair, pink hair, blue hair. Like, I just like to look wild. You get me? It's me, it's my personality. I'm loud and like,
Yeah.
There was a stage where I didn't want to do my hair no more. I didn't
Yeah.
want to put on makeup. And I actually stopped. Imagine I was going to parents' evening now. He'd make me like every parents' evening. Everything. Oh, you're not going until I've had a smoke. Yeah, you're not going until I've had a smoke. And it used to get to the point where parents' evening, I'd end up getting there for like the last 10 minutes of parents' evening, knowing that it was through rush hour and it looked bad for me, bad for my children.
Yeah.
He got to the point where he made me phone the CSA I'm of a baby father because he was jealous of him.
Right.
He stopped him from coming into the house, and yeah, it was just everything about the guy I was accused of.
So how did it make you feel? Because what you went through, it must have torn you down. You must have felt like nothing.
Sick. I had no self-confidence.
Yeah.
I felt lost. I felt suicidal. Not gonna lie with you. I've got autism and ADHD myself, and a lot of mental health. I mean, when I was pregnant with his first 2 children, which was twins, one died. I was held at gunpoint in my old house.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I lost the
Sorry
baby.
to hear that.
Yeah, it's all right. And that's why he kept coming out with the bullshit, sorry to swear, that, there's someone on your
No.
door,
Yeah.
knowing that I'm going to be scared because of what me and my kids have already been through, and I'm going to be like,
Yeah.
come back. So he used to try and manipulate me into thinking, and I did used to think it. I didn't, obviously, I weren't stupid. I got a ring doorbell. I thought, I'm not going to have you back in, because once you keep putting your foot in, don't go. And it was like arguments. I mean, the worst thing was he beat me up when I was pregnant with my daughter, and he wouldn't go out to go to my first gown, plastered in makeup, to hide my bruises and stuff. And he used to say things like, I'm going to get the kids stuck away from you because you can't look after them. And I can obviously look after them.
Yeah.
That's a prime tactic that a lot of abusers use.
You got mental health. I got mental health, which is made worse because of you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't get diagnosed with my ADHD until I was about 31. And then he'd say things like, "Oh, you stupid," this and that. He just every little
thing
to tear me down. Yeah, he'd do it. Then like the worst one was once he started to get. Sorry?
How did it affect your relationships with your children?
They hated him. He stopped all their friends from coming in. All his friends were scared of him. All he used to do was argue. It was at the point where I was embarrassed to come outside. Because he'd just say stuff that was BS, and my neighbours would be like, and my neighbours all knew me. They're like, why won't he go? And it got to the point where my kids didn't even want to be there no more. Well, they didn't want to be there, but then imagine they go to their dad's house and then they'd be like, Dad, we feel sick and this and that, and we want to go home back to me, because they'd be scared to see, like, what are we coming home to, kind of thing. I mean, like, we'd kick him out and he'd kick the door in, he'd climb through windows.
And that's the thing with abusers, they don't realise how domestic abuse affects children.
I'm not going to lie, she self-harms. Her legs are like now. Like, she's 17, it's affected her the most because she's scared to go out. She don't want to go to college, like, her mental health really bad. She had barely any self-confidence. I mean, she had friends, and they'd call her a slag, and she was sitting in the subway with her 2 male friends. They'd call her names and stuff, and she just didn't want to have anyone come to the house because she was scared for what he'd say and what he'd do and how he'd act. Imagine as well, he broke all our stuff in the house. Like, we'd had nice stuff. He'd break everything, really. We had no doors. He wouldn't help decorate.
But he'd trash the house, basically, and that's what you and your children had to live in. And that's one of the things that I kind of teach as well in my domestic abuse workshops, the fact of the impact on how it has on children. And if a child is brought up in a DV house and it goes on into their teenage life, then self-harming is very high. A lot of teams, and obviously that's something that your daughter is experiencing now. So is she receiving like counselling?
No, I've been. You know what it is? She's got that little confidence in herself or whatever. She can't speak to no one. She has like really bad anxiety attacks. She can't go back. She went. Sorry, I'm having a bit of an anxiety attack myself.
No, it's okay.
She went to college. She went to college for a little bit, sixth form, and there's too much people around her. She don't do big groups and stuff, and like, she's like, Mum, I just can't cope. I mean, the injunction runs out in a couple of months, and this is going to be like the 3rd time I'm putting in for one. But I don't think people realise the effects it has on you, like, for life. I'm never going to be the same person. He made me miss things that I should have been at. Everything was always my fault, never his. Once he started to get control of the money as well, that's when shit hit the fan. I'd have to beg him for sanitary towels and tampons. Do you know what I mean? No, I'd have to beg him for bus fare. I used to walk most places.
Kerry, so you've got an injunction out now. So does it mean? So are you separated? He doesn't live with you, but he still. to come to the house?
No way. I don't ever want it near my house ever. We've moved now. We moved from where the abuse went. I mean, the council messed up a little bit. I say to any woman who is going through domestic violence, go through was it Women's Aid, and the domestic violence helpline helped me a lot. They phoned up the house and said, look, why after 18 months is she still here? Because if they would have moved me out and he couldn't have found me, that would have been my break then. But it never happened. It left me in the frying pan, really. It's across the road spying on me, for heaven's sake, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of help out here, but a lot of women don't know about it. Once I did speak to Women's Aid again, they was like, hang on a minute. It's mad enough because he actually assaulted me again in my home. And I was like, this is the final straw. The same people who dealt with me 2 years ago dealt with me again. And they're like, well, why is he still around? Why haven't they moved you out? And then it all started to fit into place. It was like, oh, someone forgot to fill out a form properly. So I was kind of left there and bidding on houses.
Impacted on you. Yeah,
and it was horrible because, I was scared to come out of my door. We'd all sit upstairs in my bedroom. We'd have all the windows locked downstairs. And that's what I'm telling you. He actually kind of wormed his way back in, like, I'm on about before the injunction. Again, he wormed his way back because he was always around trying to help with the kids and stuff. And like I said, he was sleeping in the outhouse kind of thing. And we actually thought he was going to get back with me. I mean, it got to the point where he was accusing me of absolutely everything. And
another tactic they do.
And then he actually tried to sleep with my 16-year-old niece, bearing in mind she's a and this was the point where I was like, they told me, and it's a mad story. She was a little young and stupid, and she kept hanging around with a certain group of boys. And I thought, are we supposed to be an uncle figure to her? Just tell her that, like, you're too pretty to be going around messing around with stupid guys that ain't gonna do you nothing, and you're just gonna get in trouble. And then, like, she started to tell me stuff and how he was messaging her for months. And then not only that, I found out he was on Tinder, he was on other websites.
Right.
It was just a joke, really. I was accused of everything he was guilty of doing. I didn't go anywhere. I ain't got no self-confidence. You already made sure I felt shit about myself. No, I mean, I had 6 kids, for heaven's sake, Body's different after you have children. He took my confidence. He took all my friends. I was explaining. I had loads of couple of back now. I've had to make amends and that. But he was asking them questions about me and then mixing it up. So it's like, oh, they said this about you, they said that about you. So he took every close friend I had away at first, and then obviously I was only left with him. And then he used to make out like he did everything, and he never done nothing. He'd sit outside smoking weed and getting drunk, and not be in the house like scraping, like he did when he had the money. He would go and get shopping and stuff. I mean, and then
So you went through different forms of abuse then, because
I think I went
isolated you, he bullied you, financially abused you, psychologically abused
physically
you,
as well,
stalked you. So so how did you cope, and how did you kind of get out of it as well? How did you manage to leave?
You know what? It was hard coping because when he was still there, obviously a lot of stuff happened while we were still together, kind of thing. It makes sense. So, with stupid stuff like he'd have the code from my phone, he'd go through my phone, he'd check my texts, he'd check my location, he'd ask who this is, who that is, why is this man liking your picture? It got to the point where I had no social media, I didn't have Facebook, I deleted my Instagram because he was jealous of people liking my pictures. Every little thing like I had, he took away. How did I get out of it? Sorry.
Yeah, how did you manage to leave?
Right, he was still sleeping in the outhouse. This is what happened. It was about just when lockdown first happened, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was my daughter's 16th birthday, just before all this happened. He ruined that. He ruined absolutely everything, let me tell you. What happened was we was having a little drink in the garden, even though we shouldn't have, because it's social distancing, our own business. We was having a little drink, and he just started going on like an idiot. And then he came into the house, started, after everybody had gone, my little one had fallen asleep on the settee. I wasn't drunk, I'd had a few with summer. I shouldn't really drink on my ADHD meds anyway, and it makes you a little bit more, how can I put it? A bit more, not more tipsy than anything like. So I was tired, it was hot, it was all outside all day, we'd cook food, and everyone was just having a nice vibe. I was like, I'm ready for bed, you need to leave. So then I must have got a text message off of X just saying, how are you? Bearing in mind, I ain't been with this guy for nearly 2 years. He's trying to worm his way back in. After
Yeah.
I think I explained as well, he basically forced me into getting sterilised as well. Like,
Yes, you did mention that to me in a
yeah,
separate conversation.
yeah,
Yeah.
like at first he kept saying he wanted, because all he kept doing was trying to breed me up, breed me up, breed me up to have kids, and I didn't want to be with him no more. It was at the point where I
Yeah.
weren't touching him,
Yeah.
and then I think is that the reason why he was getting all these dating sites and he was trying to sleep with my niece and that. But there's no excuse for that. That's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. 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 It's
Um,
vile.
and then I was like, oh, like, what the hell? And it used to be at the point where he'd come in when we was together and I'd just pretend to sleep because I didn't want to touch him. He'd be like,
Yeah.
you're always
Yeah.
I'm like, it's my medication. Luckily, I'm on sleeping tablets. So that was
Yeah.
my excuse. He just the thought of him made me sick. And that happened actually. I think it was just after I had my daughter, I started to, like, my views on him really changed. But
Yeah.
you know, he'd have his good days where he'd be really nice and he'd
Yeah.
want to help around the house and he'd do everything for the kids. He'd take them to school, you know, and then everyone would like him. I mean, for a little bit, but then he just ruined it because he just couldn't help being
Couldn't.
controlled.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he
I
couldn't
wanted
help.
to ask you about, so was there a time when you were in love with him?
I wouldn't say I was in love with him, because you know what, I got pregnant real quick in the relationship. You know, I'm not being horrible. He was only supposed to have been like a little bit of fun. It weren't really serious with him, and like he was
Mhm.
younger than me, and I thought, you know, I went through domestic violence kind of before with my third daughter's dad. You see, and
Mhm.
he took her on like she was his own, and I thought, oh, he's a good, you know, he's a good man. He took someone
Yeah.
else's kid, and he lets her call him dad. You know what I mean? Obviously, then I got
Mhm.
pregnant with his kids last one, went through all that shit with the guns and that. And he just started to, like, you know, start like, oh, my brother's like, why don't you move in with her? And because obviously she's going to need your help and support. And I thought, I've never needed a man anyway, because
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
mum's always been there for me. And my dad's here, but I was
Mhm.
living with my mum, so I was like 21 till I got pregnant with my eldest kid. And like, once he moved in, that's when the first 2 years it was all right. No, the first like couple of months actually. And then he tried to kill himself. He tried to hang himself on my
Oh
stairs.
gosh.
And when my daughter who self-harmed was there, he writ letters in blood.
Oh dear. So he's got a lot of mental health issues
Yeah,
then himself.
yeah. And
Well,
then like
yeah.
when I was getting assessed and stuff, he'd be like, I need to be getting assessed. I need to do this. I need to do that.
He's
And this is
actually
why I didn't.
he's quite ill.
Yeah, he's got mental health bad, but you
What I
can't blame
wanted
him.
to ask about, because you had babies, you had children.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, that even though a woman could be being abused by this man, and but you'll have sex with
Yeah,
the
I
man,
used
babies.
to feel forced into it. Yeah, I used to feel I used to feel dirty. I didn't want to touch him, and then
Yeah.
it was at the point where you're sleeping with this person, you're sleeping with that person. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like,
So he was
what can I
a
do?
sexual controller as well.
This is it.
So
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
it was horrible. It was horrible. Like, why are
Yeah.
you buying underwear? Like, you didn't buy underwear when you was with me. Just like certain stupid things he'd come out with. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
why are you
So
getting your
sorry,
nails
Kerry.
done?
So how did you end the relationship, or how did he leave?
Oh yeah, back to that day. Sorry,
Yeah.
and ADHD kicking back in. He started he went through my phone. My ex had texted me, said, "When can I see you?"
Oh yes.
How are you? Whatever. So he's like, "Oh, you messing with him? You messing with him? You went to him since you was how old? How have you got his number? You got a secret social media? Blah 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 blah. You've been going to your friend's house to see him and all this stuff because it was my friend's brother that who messaged me." And I'm like, "No, I didn't even see my friend for how long."
Mm-hmm.
So he started an argument, and then he attacked me. He attacked me, and I'd had enough. And something
Yeah.
in me snapped, and I whacked him in the back of the head with a wine bottle, and he
Mm-hmm.
broke. And my
Right.
kids were all screaming. I had another.
Yeah.
This is how I'm smart now because he was that bad with his violence. I had a secret phone that my kids hid, so
Mm-hmm.
they could phone the police when
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
started on us. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
my son's
Yeah.
phoning the police. He tried to drag the phone out of my son's hand because he took my phone and my phone had died. He'd actually rang the person who rang me and says to them, "I'll come here and I'll do this and I'll do that." And the person said, "I
Right.
know where you live. You don't even live with her. She's told me everything. You're not with her. I
Mm.
don't like how you're treating her. Rare. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Keep your hands off women. I'll come up there and I'll kick your head up." So then he come back upstairs and I even sleeping with this geezer. Started to spit at me. Squirted cream in my face. Luckily, my daughter, the oldest
Vile.
one, he took it
Yeah.
after. Always some form of like attack. He pushed her, then I pushed him on the stairs. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I'm not even going to lie to you. I actually had him in a sleeper hole, which is where you have someone around their neck. And I
Yeah.
weren't going to let him go. It took for his
Yeah.
friend to come over and drag me off him. I just wanted him dead. I've
Right.
had that point now where it was breaking point. You got to go. And
Yeah.
then the police
Yeah.
come. and obviously he attacked me first. So
yeah,
yeah, I might have left a little bit out of the story too. I don't care because that's the
yeah,
only way it
yeah,
would ever have gone like that. He wouldn't
yeah,
want to kill
yeah,
me. It got to that
yeah,
point where he was that jealous and obsessive that even my mum says it now. He would, I reckon, he would have ended up
yeah.
snapping one night and killing me all, and I'm not having my kids around that. Or
And that's the thing as well with a lot of people. But what they need to realize as well is that when you're in it, it takes you to reach rock bottom
yeah, well, this is
before
it.
you
Yeah.
leave.
Well, I was there.
Because you give them chances after chances, you
Yeah,
hope that they'll change, you try and
yeah,
be there for them, support them. You know, you've
yeah,
got your kids, you don't want to split the whole unit up. But until you reach that rock bottom,
yeah,
that's when you
yeah.
know it's time
Yeah.
to get
Well,
out.
and a
It's
lot of
either
people
him
don't.
or me,
You know, this is
and
it, and
then
a
the
lot of people don't
kids.
realise that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
just in the beginning, like it is all nice. When once a man
yeah,
starts to change you and change who you're talking to, and that, like, you should be enough for
yeah,
somebody. If
yeah,
you're enough for
exactly.
yourself, you should be enough for them.
Kerry, I just want to ask you. So you've got an injunction at the moment.
Yeah, I've
Does
got to
he
renew that.
stalking you, harassing you? Does he come to you? Was he
No,
come to you?
no, thank God he doesn't. The kids are actually going, like, it's all done through his mum and his sisters. They'll
Okay.
message and say,
That's
"Can you
good.
have the kids?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't mind." But
Mm.
when my kids do go there, I think I kind of got an autistic son. We got a new house.
Fabulous.
First time they went there, he like told him to come back and wreck my house, like draw on the walls, kick the doors, call mummy this, say that, be naughty for mummy,
That is
kind of
so
thing.
vile.
Well, this is
Yeah,
it's disgusting. How you can use your own disabled kid to do that?
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like he's.
At this moment in time, do you feel safe?
You know what? I've got. It sounds really mad. I've got a new partner, yeah, and he's everything that this other guy isn't. You know what I mean? It's like he's very loving. He's like, I feel safe when he's here. I get I'm a bit worried, like, if the injunction finishes in a couple of months and he can come here, which I don't think he'd be that stupid. But he actually did force my son to tell him where I live as well. And I'm saying to the police, I did phone the police about this and say, look, well, that's breaching the injunction. Why has he not been sent to prison
Yeah,
anyway? Why?
yeah.
Like, I think the police told me, like, you've made over 900 and something calls to us in the last 10 years. I'm like, so why ain't you done nothing about him then?
Just
Yeah, the
about to
police
ask
told
you.
me that I made 200 calls
Wow.
when I was going through domestic
With
Yeah.
those
abuse.
calls, what actions have the police taken?
They're just taking back to his mum.
Calls. What do the police?
That is a lot. That is a
Yeah.
high call
No,
volume.
they'd come out and they'd just remove him from the situation, basically.
What
Remove him out the house.
I thought is listening to his actions and everything. Clearly, he has major mental health issues.
Yeah,
So the
But
police are coming, removing him, but nobody's even looking at him thinking, you know what? We need to assess this guy.
But this is it,
exactly.
Behavior is just not
Not
rational.
normal.
It's just
Yeah, yeah.
But when you're drinking and you're smoking and stuff, apparently, obviously that's gonna like not help him. Obviously, he's sitting
No,
out
Gonna
there
make it
smoking.
worse.
Well, this is it, yeah. And then obviously he's taking drugs. I think the one night he must have taken Xanax outside with alcohol and stuff, and he came in, and that was one of the incidents. That was one incident that happened, and that's why I had the school. He actually barged into the kids' school trying to beat me up, kind of thing. And
Kerry, so you need to make sure now that you've got a safety plan in place.
yeah,
So, you know, obviously you make sure that you got all the numbers you need. So, you know, women's aid numbers,
yeah,
family support numbers. Obviously, you know, to call 999 if there's any, you know, if it ever
no
comes to
doubt,
your
man.
house, incidents,
Yeah.
anything like that. You know, if you can, make sure you've got a camera on your
Yeah, I got a ring
property.
doorbell. Yeah, I need to put
You
it.
got a ring doorbell, so you
I've
just
got to
make
get it
sure
put
that
on.
you've got. And I like the fact as well is that when you was with him, you had a safety plan with your children because you
Yeah,
had that emergency phone for them
yeah.
to
'Cause if you got
phone
to that
if
point,
anything was to happen. And
yeah,
you
it
know
got to
that's
that
part of
point.
safeguarding. Yeah,
Yeah, it did
yeah,
get to that
yeah,
point. Not all
yeah.
that's what he was doing. I think he was trying to get my kids took off me or something. I don't know, but
And a lot of them do try to do that. They'll do
yeah,
anything to get to you. They'll do anything that they can do to get to you, and they do use children.
and
You
that's
know,
what he was
their
doing.
own children.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
that's what he was
yeah.
doing. Like he was just horrible. The night everything did kick off, he had my little. He took my daughter off the city because I phoned the police and he thought I was lying. The
Right.
police were on the phone, and luckily the police could hear the 999 call. because my daughter had worded something in the court paper was the reason why kind of like, if we would have went into the courtroom, it would have been worse for me, because my daughter was like, yeah, they were fighting. But when she meant fighting as in talking, fighting. She didn't mention that, you know, anything else had happened kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because he did like just basically jumped at me. And it's like, I thought, how was he on? He admitted to spitting at me. He admitted to pushing me and that, because I did have marks on me where he gripped me up and that. And he basically got a community, I can't remember, it's so much stupid. He didn't even get
sent to prison at all or nothing.
No, I'm thinking this is the second time. You know what I mean? And then,
has the police put a marker on your property as well? So if anything ever did,
I think they have now. But what I might do is, I've still got the same number for the people who I got an injunction from, and I did message him last year to sort it out. So I'm going to do it again, because I don't think people understand. I'm not scared of him anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not scared of him anymore. But it's the mental.
It's the mental trauma
that I've been through. I'll never get over it. In a sense, all I can do is like get, you know.
We've got another question as well. So, have you had any type of therapy, or your children had therapy, or any family therapy?
Not really, no. I did a course on domestic violence not long ago. I think I was explaining to you. Was it a freedom thing? It was
freedom really program.
Yeah. There was a book that I read, and I'm telling you, I was crying when I read the book, because every little thing it touched on, like
sounds like them. Yeah,
every little thing, the head work, and that's what it was. A lot of it was head work. You know what I mean? And then it got to the point where I wouldn't even. I had neighbours. Imagine this. I had neighbours saying hello to me, and I'm like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've lived because you've lived here for about 6 years." Because I've never seen you. And like, I was never really seen you outside. As soon as my ex-partner was gone and I got my injunction, we used to come outside all the time. And neighbours said how nice it was to see me and the kids in the garden, all the family playing, having water fights, doing barbecues. You know what I mean? Like,
you're starting to find Kerry again. You're starting to get back to a normal, everyday life. I mean, one thing I do want you to do, though, Kerry, is start to focus on your healing now.
Yeah.
You know,
it's hard at the moment. Sorry to cut you. It's kind of hard at the moment, because my mum, like, she's at end of life now. She said, this is what I mean, even down to that. Like, she's had like cancer about for 4 years, 3 different ones. She's battled, bless her. No, her time is coming soon, you know. She's really ill. So like, I'm trying to like sort my, obviously I've not long got a new house. I'm trying to sort out that, and I'm panicking, thinking if this idiot has actually got the audacity to turn up at my house, because I think he would try that, because his mum said to me the other day, oh, he hopes one day you can talk and he can come and get the kid from your house and all that, because what it was, he was jealous of how close me and my other baby father were. Right. So imagine when he gone, my next door neighbours were still talking to him. I didn't really speak to them much, and they said, oh, Kerry's next door having a party. I had some loud music on, so I went to my yard, I pay my rent. Kerry's having a party, she's got this person, this that person. So he was still talking to my other baby father. So he's phoned up my baby father, talking shit basically. And then once I told my baby father everything he'd done, how he used to threaten to do this to my baby father, I used to call him horrible names, made me block him on everything on WhatsApp, used to made me phone the CSA and told me not to let him in my house. He didn't want him in, like, because he'd work, he'd come after work to see the kids, and I was every time I could come home, he's here and all this stuff. Like, it was all the controlling stuff that he used to do that I didn't click on. And then once my baby father knew what he did, and I told him everything, he was like, no way, I'm going to kill him. And it's like, you know what, I'm a bit older than him, obviously. My baby father's older. He's like 33, the one who I had an injunction on. Okay. And my baby father's like my age, like 39, 40. So he was angry. He was angry, like, why didn't you tell me? Because I should have seen it, man. Because I should have seen the sign. Because now it makes sense. When the kids used to come to ours, they used to say they want to go home and they don't feel well, and every time making excuses so they could be with you, because maybe, you know, he knew. They were worried. He knew. It was hard. It weren't as hard as I thought, though, to get away and get an injunction in the end, because you know, rebuilding your life afterwards is the horrible thing. Like, now I've got a partner that you know, we want to have a baby now, and now we've got to raise £4,000 to have a kid. You know what I mean? Because obviously he kept trying to like get me pregnant, and then he was like, oh, well, you need to get sterilised, because after he realised I didn't want to have any more kids, I was like, no, I don't want to have any more kids. I didn't save anyone else, but I was at that mental low point in my life, and he just taught me into it, to get it done, then you won't have to worry. Like, he basically forced me, and he was saying, oh, you ever have any kids off anyone else, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to kick you. You know what I mean? So he tore you down until he had full control over you, full control of your mind.
Even her body, have an operation.
Body, yeah.
Kerry,
know.
how do you see the future for you?
I'm happy. I've actually, like, now I can see that what I went through, I would never go through it again. It's happened to me twice, to be fair.
Yeah.
I would never go through it again.
Mhm.
I start to see, so if I like, I started to see someone when we first broke up, which maybe mostly rushed in a little bit, and then like we were together for about 6 months, and then I just had a break from him, and then I met somebody, and that's who I'm with now, and we've been together for like 9 months, and we're happy. He went to have a baby, and we were talking about getting married and stuff. Like he's totally different. He's not controlling. He's his own person too. He's loving. He's loyal. My kids love him. My daughter is in. My oldest one is South.
That's nice.
She'll message him. Most of the talks to him more than me. Not gonna lie. She'll message him and say, "Oh, I don't feel well," or I'm upset. And he talks to her. And it's nice. He's got a bond. I see myself being happy and trying not to go through anymore and to cause myself that now I know exactly what to look for.
Yeah.
Now it took a lot
is that from the program? Is that from when you did the Freedom program? That's really helped you.
I've got the book again. Like I said, I got the book somewhere. I can't remember what it's called, but I think that was written by a policewoman herself too.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's really good. When I find it, I'll have to send you a screenshot of the picture.
Is it the Dominator? Is it the one about the Dominator?
I think it might be. Yeah, it is. That's how
that goes with the Freedom program.
I was reading it. I was actually in tears. Like, so I was thinking, why did not? It makes me feel stupid because I'm thinking, why didn't I just see it myself? But and that's what everyone keeps saying. Like,
but when you're in it, you don't see it. When you're in it, you don't see it. You don't know.
That's what I was trying to say to people. Once you get out of that,
exactly.
Situation, then you realise all that, and then it weren't just me. I felt like the shittest mum in the world, man. I'm like, my kids, I put them through so much, but then the kid, I love the kids, like, mum, but you went through it yourself.
You know
what I mean? And it's mad.
And those are the kind of guilty feelings as a mother as well that you feel when you've been through DV. You feel the shame, you feel the guilt, you feel like you're a bad mom, but it's not your shame or your guilt to carry. It's his. Yeah.
And that's what he used to do. He used to make me think that this is the head worker for it. He used to make me think, oh, it's me because I've got ADHD. And we even tried to say it was my fault. My son had autism at one stage. Like, I was like, wow, like, what could I do? Like, everything was just me. Something went wrong for him. It was me.
It was you.
And then imagine after about 3 years of me not having, like, obviously getting my tube tied and stuff. Because I went through an ectopic pregnancy years ago, and that was horrible. I nearly died. He said, "Oh, we'll have another baby." I think my niece had a baby, and then my cousin, had a baby. So he was getting kind of like, I want another baby, and I'm like, well, I don't want a kid with you. And then he was actually saying, "Oh, we'll untie your tube." And I thought, well, why force me basically to get something done? Because we really thought, oh, we'll get back together. I'll have a baby. See, I weren't stupid. We'll have a baby, and well, having a baby doesn't solve nothing. It's going to
solve anything.
It also seems like he used getting her pregnant. That was all part of the control as well.
But it's another tactic. He keeps her in the house. He keeps her under his control. You know, and that's one of the tactics that they do. Keep getting you pregnant.
Blah blah blah. You got to breastfeed for this amount of time and all this and all that. And I'm like, all because
my gosh.
My friends wanted me to go out or something, and I was just always stuck in with my kids. And then people say, "Oh, you know what your friends are when you have kids." I had very few of them, and not only was it they didn't want to come around all the time. Like, it was when they came, he made everybody feel unwelcome. Even my own mum didn't want to come there no more. Like, it was horrible. Like, he could go out to parties and do all this and do all that, but I couldn't, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Once I started to realise everything, like, I cut off the control. The last time when I said I got my injunction, like I said, he knew he was getting arrested, and I said to the police, I don't ever want him back in here. I'm getting him done now. He assaulted me, because you hit him with a bottle. I goes, well, yeah, that was because he was going to kill me. He had his hands around my throat. I said, what do you want me to do? Get killed in front of my kids? Are you mad? And the policeman understood. He said, you know something? Because looking at because when obviously pulling it up and we said how many calls and how many assaults and that you've actually been through, he's gone, I don't blame you. Off the record, because I don't blame you. He's gone, because I'm sick of coming. He said it because I'm sick of coming here. I goes, good. I goes, you know something, officer, this is the last time I'm ever going to call you for him coming here. I said, this is it. Today is the day, mate. He's never coming back in my life. He's never ruining it for my kids ever again. And it took all that years and years of it for me to
Yes.
realise this is it now. He even had the audacity to take my daughter, who was asleep on the settee, outside for nearly 2 hours in the freezing cold because he didn't want to get arrested.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kerry, wow. First, I'm going to ask you just if you've got a message to a woman out there who's watching this podcast, who's in the situation that you've been in, what should she do?
Get out of it. Not only it's just for your own sanity, you know, you get worn down to the point where you won't recognise yourself no more. There's help out here. Go to a phone back, phone women's aid, go into school with your children, talk to the teachers. You know what, you might feel ashamed and embarrassed, but everyone goes through it. I know a lot of women that have been through it now. You know what? It's not just women going through it. There's couples out there that are the same gender. It's, you know, there's children even going
and
through
there's men.
Yeah,
definitely.
It doesn't matter who you are. Once them red flags start to show, you need to leave. There's help. You can get out of it. I've never been. It sounds really stupid, but I've never been happier now. I'm out of it. I've got a new house. I've got a new partner. You know, we're struggling along.
Brilliant, Kerry. Thank you for that point. Thank you. There's always so much to say because it's been a lifetime of experience.
Yeah, I was scared thinking I'm going to come on. I'm not going to have anything to talk about.
But there's so much to say, and there's so much that even I felt like, oh, I want to say this, but I know that I needed to listen to you.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I've just literally listened
there's so much more I could say. There's so much more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like you said, you've been through it yourself, and you don't see it, and everybody else around you doesn't. Like my partner now, like knowing how your mouth's so wild, how did you? I could never see you letting a man put his hands on you or telling you anything. Like, and then I tried to explain, but you know something. Once someone's ground you down that much,
that's
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So, Kerry, we're gonna summarize now. We're gonna wrap up because we've had a really and the thing is, it's been great. You've given us the real flavour of the real experience because you are still in a position where you have this injunction and you've got to be thinking of your safety plan.
Yeah, you know, I am definitely going to keep them numbers to hand. I'm going to give my
you must. So what we've learned from Kerry's interview is that the way that living with someone who is an abuser, been in a relationship with an abuser, Kerry has experienced multiple levels of abuse, you know, every financial, physical, emotional, coercive control, abuse about control over her body to the point she had an operation, you know, sexual control as well. And even using being pregnant to keep her under control, the isolation, making everyone feel uncomfortable, checking the phone, the whole realm has come out in your story. Kerry, we thank you for that.
No, thank you. It's been nice to get it off my chest. It's kind of closure for me now. This is a new chapter. I've got it off my chest now. I'm gonna move on and be happy now.
Exactly. And just to add on to Marcia's point as well, Kerry, I just want you to I know obviously you've gone through, you know, the trauma of, you know, your mom slowly being ill, but I really want you to focus on healing yourself as well and your children, and at some point just try to get some form of counselling because what you've experienced must have a big impact on your body, on your mental state, you know, and on your children. You know, see if I don't know if they're in school, if they're at school age still. See if the school's got anything in place as well where they can do some mentoring for the, you know, for the children. You can also contact Murray Hall, an organisation, and they do some amazing work with children. And I can speak to you about that after anyway. I'll contact you about that. They do some amazing work with children that's gone through different forms of trauma. And just, you know, look after yourself. And I'm glad that you've gone now from that abusive man, that you found somebody nice and that you're happy.
I think a lot of women think they're never going to get away, but you are. There's help.
But you can.
We're survivors, isn't it? You know what I mean? You have to.
Exactly.
So
thank you.
Too many women.
Too many.
Die.
That's another thing I wanted to say.
Domestic violence is sorry, Kerry.
Sorry, one of the main things was my daughter who's self-harmed. She actually sat there the one night and said, I think it can end up killing your mum. We used to be scared to come home in case we'd find you dead. And that, to me, that hit home as well. And that was, I'm not having it. It takes a lot, but it takes a lot.
Definitely make sure that she has some form of mentoring,
Oh, well,
because even though she might not tell you, but she's definitely feeling that.
She's suffering with huge anxiety.
But this is because of him as well. She was scared to go out, scared to wear like little skirts and stuff with her friends, scared to be herself.
Now
I think she's been that scared. She doesn't even know who she is because of him. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean. As a family now, we are
massive impact.
It's gonna take years to fix, but you know, with love and God, anything's possible. And the right help, like you said, I'm gonna try that movie hall place. Like, hopefully,
I'll definitely contact you anyway. After, just to make sure you're okay, give you some more advice, and you know, so I definitely will. So thank you everybody for tuning in today and listening to Kerry's story. You know, again, you know, domestic abuse is a very high crime that is happening daily. And you know, this platform is a safe space for women to come on and share their, you know, their experience, and you know, this will let other women know that, you know, they can share their story as well, and empower other women to know that they're not alone, you know, and you know, and we just all here to support, empower, and you know, help each other out. So thank you everybody who's tuned in to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Please like, share, follow, and
subscribe,
you know, and subscribe to our YouTube.
And I just want to say also, Jess runs a company that does support people who are living in a domestic abuse situation. She also provides coaching and advocacy, and it's worth getting in touch with. It's called Living Beyond Surviving Consultancy Limited. And so just have a look for it. You can Google or Kerry for you. You're online, you're in touch with Jess anyway, but anyone viewing, you can do that. Also, remember the domestic abuse helpline, which we'll have on our, it's on the bottom of this film. It's also on our Instagram. And in terms of children, you know, the PCC, get in touch to get support for yourself and for your children when you're in the situation. But then for your healing, it's when you're out of the situation as well. And just in addition, I think also you could also think about writing as a form of therapy, Jess.
Definitely. So Marcia is an author, publisher. She's doing amazing. So again, you know, if anybody feels like they want to, you know, write about their story, their journey, what they've been through, contact Marcia. Marcia, what's your publishing page?
Oh yes, so well, if you go to the web, there is a website. So it's marciampublishing.com. And that will be
all the details will be below the video.
So I mean, you know, it's great to take the brave step and speak out, and then another step that is therapeutic is to write your story as well. So thanks, Kerry.
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much.
Just to share and just get it all out.
You know what, can I just say one more thing before we go? A lot of women as well, they're scared because they think if they do try and seek help, you're going to get your kids took away from you. That's not the case. There's more help, you know, and that's one of the main things that first there's no help because I thought, they're going to take my kids away, but no, my kids are all here.
And you know, I can definitely, because you know, I've been through that where, you know, the social workers were
I had them
in my life, and what they do is their first point of call is to make sure that you and your kids are safe, and they help you and support you. They've got a support plan, you know, they'll work with you, and you know, taking your children is the last thing that they think about.
But that's what they're saying, because that's what gets us, and it's our kids.
Social workers. Oh my God, my kids. And that's not it at all. That's the last resort. They're there.
And I know that many abusers. I know that many perpetrators as well. They will phone social services to report.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
he threatened me
Yeah.
not saying that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
another
God.
thing that they do, and it
Yeah.
scares
Don't
you.
be
Well, they're
afraid
talking
of
about
that.
the courts. They're
Yeah,
threatening to
yeah.
take you to court and take the children away.
Yeah.
There's so much different tactics, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things as well that I coach and I teach on,
Brilliant.
on my workshops as well. If anyone's
Brilliant.
interested
Yeah.
in doing one of my domestic abuse courses, so yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested in doing another one. You can only.
Okay.
Oh, brilliant,
Yeah,
brilliant.
definitely,
Yeah, I
definitely.
think
I'll
you
definitely
can't do too many
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
activities that are going to help you to heal
Yeah.
and
It
get
sounds
through
really bad, but talking today, like when you said I've been through basically every,
everything.
yeah, and it like it hits home when
It hits,
you
yeah.
say it to
You
somebody
hear
else.
it.
But as long as I can help, even if this makes a difference to one person in the world, I don't
Yeah.
care. Like
Yeah.
you can survive, and that's all I can say. You get
Sure.
out of it, and you'll be a lot better.
Definitely.
Kerry, thank you so much.
Thank
I have to
you,
applaud
Kerry.
you for
Thank
sharing.
you. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so
Really?
much,
And
Kerry.
thank you
Thank
both,
you.
man. I
No,
feel
and
better
just
now. I've got it off my chest now.
good and keep safe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm going to definitely do what you said with getting my doorbell up and that as well. Because you know
Yeah,
what,
that safety plan.
if you can sleep in my shed, come on.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
about keeping everybody safe now, and that's my main goal. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
when I come off the line, I'm gonna obviously go back in, and my daughter wanted to sit with me, but she's got to watch the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And get
but,
things
yeah.
organized. Just get yourself organized. So primarily focus on your safety.
Yeah, that's the first thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So make yourself safe, and then do as Jess said. I'll just echo it.
Yeah.
You must take care of you and start your journey, which you've started. You've done the freedom program. You've gotten out, but your own healing.
Yeah.
You can't pour from an empty vessel.
But this is it. Yeah.
And you need to get yourself filled up again.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I've got my confidence back now.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm just getting. I've got a new house. I've got a lovely partner. You know what? Everything I thought I'd never have, what he told me, you'll never get no one.
Okay.
And
Kerry,
everything I proved
thank
you wrong.
you so much. We've got to stop here.
That's fine. Thank you.
We've run out of time.
And maybe there'll be other opportunities, especially when Jess runs her workshops and things.
Yeah, definitely interested in that.
Yeah. We've got our other guests waiting, so we're going to have to go now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye, Kerry. Bye. Bye.